The revolutionary founder of Microsoft that helped to lead the world into the age of information, Mr. Bill Gates is one of the leading philanthropic pioneers of the modern age. He has dedicated his nearly limitless fortune and time into forming the non-profit organisation known as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, named after himself and his wife, of whom helped to start the organisation in order to help tackle a lot of the problems that plague the world that we see today. Not only has this proven to be an incredibly fruitful endeavour, causing dramatic changes in impoverished countries as well as saving a countless amount of lives, but has led to incredible technological breakthroughs in the realms of sustainability and industrial revolution in poverty-stricken areas. Due to this work, Bill Gates has become an expert when discussing future projections of the world and the effects of his work, as well as others, leading him to make astonishingly accurate predictions about the future. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 5 predictions Bill Gates has made about the future and what they could mean for our planet. A new worldwide pandemic. Back in February of 2018, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation joined a conference held at the city of Munich in Germany, in which Bill Gates addressed in his lecture about the impending dangers of widespread epidemics and diseases. Given the recent explosion in population in undeveloped countries, the spreading of diseases otherwise eradicated in the Western world can easily cause a record number of deaths that could spread even into well-developed countries given the incredible modern-day advancements in transportation. In fact, the recent Ebola outbreak was due to the spreading of the terrifying disease in undeveloped countries that eventually metastasized to it being spread to the United States and the United Kingdom after an infected person not yet showing symptoms boarded an airplane back to his home country. Given the fact that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation often find that the majority of its funding and efforts going towards helping impoverished countries is spent battling against strange epidemics and childhood illnesses, this led Mr. Gates into spending a vast amount of time and research into understanding the contraction and spreading of such illnesses around the world. Interestingly enough, he found that not only is it possible for even currently existing illnesses to one day spread to well-developed countries through the means of modern transportation, but that the odds of a worldwide pandemic are very real and indicate the usage of techniques at bioterrorism. Bill Gates predicted that if more efforts and funding are not made towards helping undeveloped countries eradicate dangerous and highly infectious illnesses, it will only help to promote the use of such diseases as mechanisms of tragic acts by independent third parties. This lecture came as a surprise to those that attended, of whom were already made aware of the efforts of the United States federal budget, of which had cut a tremendous amount of funding to such organizations as the Center of Disease Control, of whom are constantly working towards preventing and containing the spread of dangerous airborne pathogens. The Self-Sufficiency of Africa. Back in 2015, Bill Gates wrote in his Gates Annual Letter, of which is mostly seen as a yearly summary report created to help spread awareness on behalf of the Foundation and its unceasing efforts to help impoverished countries, that he believed without a doubt that the entire continent of Africa will be able to fully sustain itself and struggles of various countries that resided within the continent when it came to its agricultural needs and development in only a few short years. He predicted that by 2030, the entire agricultural industry of Africa will see a boost in productivity of at least 50%, of which should more than cover the entire continent's food requirements. Currently, the entire continent of Africa combined is forced to import roughly $50 billion worth of food every single year due to its lack of agricultural developments. This is a staggering amount of food imports given the fact that nearly 70% of sub-Saharan Africans are farmers. This explosion in food production is mostly theorized by Bill Gates due to his realization of the lack of technological progress and innovation when it came to food production in the majority of the countries within the continent of Africa. With the simple introduction of already invented technologies such as better fertilizers, productive, nutritious and drought and disease-resistant crops, as well as providing more available access to different forms of tractors, vehicles and food-preparing technologies, African farmers could more than triple their annual yields. Though these technologies already exist and could theoretically be implemented today, Bill Gates argues it might take more than 15 years until such techniques and methods are introduced due to the vast amount of initial cost it takes to implement such modern agricultural technologies to undeveloped countries. But the numbers and projections are more than just promising. Mobile banking services. A luxury that is already well established in most developed countries, Bill Gates predicts that very soon mobile banking services will be a service that is provided to every single country from around the world, regardless of their economic development and average gross domestic product numbers. Bill Gates believes that by establishing mobile banking services and easier ways for poverty-stricken countries to store money safely and affordably, then there will be a dramatic and immediate increase in the GDP and overall quality of life for such poverty-stricken countries. This increase in the GDP of a country and the overall quality of life is theorized due to the fact that by providing people of all income statuses easier access to such services as storing money safely, accruing interest, taking out loans, and buying cheap and affordable assets, such as that of a vehicle or raw land, one could slowly work their way out of poverty while having the peace of mind that comes with the safety of storing money. Bill Gates argues that by 2030, 2 billion people who do not have ease of access to banking services will be able to store their money digitally and make payments and receive loans through the use of a phone. This will then kickstart mobile money providers to begin offering a full range of financial services, from interest-bearing savings accounts to both credit and insurance, which will more than boost the economy of such poverty-stricken countries and provide an economic boom unprecedented in the global market. It also appears that certain agencies, such as M-Pesa, have already begun providing access to digital bank accounts in countries like Kenya and Uganda since Bill Gates has made his initial announcements on the matter. No more extreme poverty by 2035. In his 2014 Gates annual letter, Bill Gates made the shocking prediction that by the year 2035, there will be no such thing as extreme poverty throughout the world, and every single person on the face of the planet will be above that extreme poverty line of surviving on less than $1.25 a day. Though many skeptics scoffed at the idea, it turns out that, given the demographic data compiled every single year since 1970, there has been a dramatic drop from that of roughly 2 billion people being below the extreme poverty line to the modern projections back in 2015 to roughly only 700 million people from around the world being below the poverty line. This dramatic drop has been made all the more apparent when one takes into consideration the percentage of total population in regards to the global extreme poverty level that went from a whopping 54% of the world population being below the extreme poverty line to the modern day in which only 10% of the world population is below the extreme poverty line. This projection, put across a linear graph, then shows that since 1970, nearly 80,000 people moved out of the extreme poverty line every single day for the past 45 years, a daily number that is only getting higher every single year. Fortunately enough, Bill Gates' prediction does not stop there, as he even goes as far as optimistically estimating that by the year 2035, there will be no poor countries in the world whatsoever, and that even the poorest countries in the world will have the same quality of life as seen in lower middle income countries or higher. The complete eradication of polio. Probably seen as one of the most accurate predictions provided by Bill Gates was his summary and theory in his 2013 Gates annual letter, in which he wrote extensively about how polio will be completely eradicated from the world, similar to that of smallpox, by the year 2019. In the past, polio has led to nearly 400,000 children every year becoming paralyzed from the disease, as well as dramatically lowering their life expectancy. Fortunately for us, it appears that Bill Gates' prediction came true, and that starting this new year in 2019, we only see about 22 cases of polio left in the world that has seen its victims already quarantined and being treated for the illness. It appears that by the end of this year, not only will polio be completely eradicated from the world, but we should be able to sleep safely and soundly that the job of polio eradication is completely finished, and that we won't be forced to worry about it ever again for the foreseeable future. Proving without a doubt that not only are Bill Gates' predictions more than accurate, but that efforts made to help raise the standard of living and quality of life in impoverished countries can have dramatic effects on the averages of the world and benefit even the most well-developed countries. But what do you all think of these predictions made by the tech mogul Bill Gates and what they could mean for the future of humanity? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comments section below and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.